Have you ever wondered what happens when you push someone too far? I'm not talking about making them angry or upset. I'm talking about pushing them beyond their limits, past the point of no return, to a place where the normal rules of human emotion just don't apply anymore. This is a story about a man who was pushed so far that fear stopped working on him. Let's call him Alex. Alex wasn't a hero or a super soldier. He was just a regular guy, maybe a bit like you or me. He worked a demanding job, tried to be a good friend, and dealt with the everyday pressures of life. But for Alex, the pressure wasn't just every day. It was a relentless, crushing weight, a toxic boss who delighted in public humiliation, a series of personal betrayals that left him feeling isolated, financial burdens that seemed to multiply overnight. It was a slow, grinding process, a daily chipping away at his spirit. Most people in this situation would feel anxiety, stress, or dread, and Alex did for a long time. His heart would pound before work. He'd lie awake at night, his mind racing with worries. Fear was his constant companion. It dictated his choices, silenced his voice, and kept him trapped. He was afraid of losing his job, afraid of being alone, afraid of failure. Fear was the warden of his self-made prison. But something strange happens when you live with constant high-level stress. Your system can't maintain that state of alarm forever. It's like an engine running in the red. Eventually, something has to give. For Alex, it wasn't a dramatic breakdown. It was a quiet, internal shift. One morning, he woke up and the usual knot of dread in his stomach was just gone. He went to work, and when his boss started his usual tirade, Alex didn't flinch. He didn't feel the familiar surge of adrenaline or the desperate need to disappear. He just watched with a strange sense of detachment, as if observing a poorly acted play. The threats that used to paralyze him now sounded hollow. The social anxieties that kept him home now seemed trivial. He had been so saturated with fear for so long that his mind had developed an immunity. He had already imagined and lived through the worst-case scenarios 1,000 times in his head. The actual events could no longer touch him. This new state wasn't fearlessness in the heroic sense. It wasn't about courage. It was a profound, almost eerie calm. He started speaking his mind, not aggressively, but with a simple, unshakable honesty. He set boundaries that were long overdue. He walked away from situations that drained his energy, not out of anger, but out of a simple, logical assessment that they were no longer worth his time. People around him were baffled. His boss, who thrived on intimidation, was suddenly powerless. Friends who had taken him for granted were taken aback by his newfound resolve. To them, it looked like he had suddenly developed a backbone of steel. But Alex knew the truth. It wasn't strength that had forged this change. It was exhaustion. He had simply been pushed past the point where he had any fear left to give. This story is a powerful reminder of the human mind's capacity to adapt. It shows that sometimes hitting rock bottom isn't the end. It's the foundation for a new beginning. When you've faced the abyss and it no longer scares you, you become free. You're no longer controlled by what might happen because you've already made peace with the worst. Alex didn't become reckless or destructive. He became focused. He started building a new life, not based on avoiding pain, but on pursuing what genuinely mattered to him. He found that when you stop running from your fears, you finally have the energy to run towards your dreams. So if you ever feel like you're being pushed to your absolute limit, remember Alex. Sometimes the breaking point isn't a point of collapse, but a point of transformation. It's the moment you realize that the chains holding you back were only as strong as your fear of them. And once that fear is gone, you are truly, unconditionally free. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more content that makes you think. See you in the next one.